Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be picking up looking at this issue of the elevation of Lot in Scripture. And we saw this with two instances with respect to the book of Ruth, and we saw it with the book of Esther, and to a certain degree with that book of Judith. And so we're going to do a scripture analysis of Lot. We're going to revisit this name Lot and the symbols associated with Lot. Now, we talked about Lot previously and the association between Lot and Eurasia and Africa and the history of Lot and Eurasia. Right now, we're just going to concretely look at this name and person Lot to get a better understanding of why this name has been elevated and the association between Lot and this construct of elevation. And we're just going to start off with indicating that Lot is another word for top, head, and chief. Now, if you're not familiar with the narratives around Lot, and there are a couple of significant narratives related to Lot, you can look in the book of Genesis to get started with those narratives. And so with Lot basically translating to head in many instances, another word for Lot is Rosh. Lot is also symbolically represented with the letter R associated with Rosh, meaning head, the top of something. We're going to dive into Strong's Concordance and the analysis of Lot with respect to Strong's. This is not the only thing that will be used in terms of this analysis, but it is definitely the starting point. And so you see at 3876 in the Hebrew, you have Lot indicated as Abraham's nephew. Now, we talked about this issue with Lot with respect to the naming of Africa. And as you recall, Lot, we're looking at 3875 now, Lot translates to envelop and covering. So in many ways, Lot is understood as a facade. And here you see another transliteration of Lot at 3874. We're still in the Hebrew, and this is translating as loot. And it is also indicated that this particular variation, it's all the same. It means to wrap closely or tightly, to enwrap, to envelop. Continuing on, we're going to be looking at some other analyses and transliterations related to Lot and this idea of covering. Now, Lot is indicated in not only the Old Testament and the Hebrew, you also have Lot in the Greek in the New Testament. And here you have additional indications related to Lot. He is indicated as a patriarch, specifically in this one, and then still understood as a nephew of Abraham. And this is the Greek translation of Lot. And so what we see here is that Lot is understood as a patriarch. We're just going to quickly look at what a patriarch is. And so what are we talking about when we are talking about Lot and his position? When you look at the breakdown of patriarch, you're essentially looking at someone who is the chief or the head of a family or a clan, also related to archon. You might want to look a little bit deeper at this construct of archon, but we're just going to look at this etymology here. And so archon essentially is a ruler, a commander, a chief, yet again, to be the first, to lead, to be the head of something, to be the ruler of something. So again, you have that top, head, chief, Lot. So whether you're looking at the name Lot or you're looking at the position of Lot as a patriarch, you are seeing the same dynamic going on. Moving right along, you see additional transliteration with respect to Lot. Again, we're looking at the Greek, and you see here that Lot is indicated not only as the nephew of Abraham, but as the son of Haran or Haran. You might want to look at Haran or Haran to get a better understanding of who the father was. And you might have a better sense of why Lot is associated with this idea of elevation or high places or being elevated. You see here that, again, in the Greek, Lot means a covering, a veil, and we're going to talk about what that means. Now, when stepping outside of Strong's and just simply looking at the dictionary understanding of cover, you have this word cover that is rooted in this other word covert. And so Lot essentially means something, someone who is covert. And so that's a part of the essence of his name. And so let's just look at the etymology of this word cover. You see that it also traces to this idea of something being laid or placed or spread over something else. This harkens to that whole idea of superimposition that we've seen throughout history. Lot also means to veil something or to screen something from sight. And so Lot basically is about concealing something. And when looking at the verb tense of cover, you see that it means to cover, protect, conceal, to cover over, overwhelm, bury, to close, to cover over something. And so essentially you see this dynamic of hiding or screening or putting something over something else. And so Lot essentially is something that is shielded, that is covert, that is covered, that is concealed. Lot is hidden. And related to this idea of cover is the word cove or cave. Now this is interesting because of the narrative of Lot. And so when you look at the narrative of Lot, you'll see the significance of this word cave being associated with the root of Lot. And looking at this word veil in terms of the verb tense, you see that it essentially means to cover or to veil something. And you think about a veil, it's covering something, it's concealing something. And so it's a cloth, a covering, a curtain, a veil. But it also means specifically to conceal something, to mask something, to disguise something. And so you think about when there is a mask involved, then the identity of the individual is not quite clear. There is a concealing, there is a disguising. And so that's the essence of this name, Lot. Lot is also associated with this construct of weaving a web. And noteworthy is this indication that Lot means sail, as in a sailboat, the sail on the sailboat. It also means a head covering and is related to a nun's head covering. But essentially what you're talking about is this veiling dynamic. And so a head covering. And we're just going to run through some additional constructs that are related to or grow out of this name, Lot. So Lot means to shelter, to conceal, to protect, and also a hiding place because it means to cover. Again, you have Lot meaning top, wrapping and disguise. In other words, you don't know always who Lot is. Okay, so you also have Lot meaning camouflage, conceal, hide, and obscure. You have Lot meaning ensconce, mask, and cover up. You have Lot meaning shield, wrap, burying, and screen. And that screen includes the idea of a smoke screen. And so you also have Lot meaning shroud, overlay, again, that superimposition dynamic, and lid. And so the essence of Lot is about covering something and something, the true thing being under the cover. And so you don't know when you're looking at Lot, according to these dynamics. You don't know when you're looking at Lot. You think you are looking at something else. And the truth of who Lot is under whatever it is that you are looking at. So you also have Lot as envelop, coat, face, and hiding. Even though this isn't the foundational essence of Lot, you can also have this idea of covering something, meaning to cross something, to go over something, to go through something, or travel over something. And as with cover, you have Lot meaning veil, which again means to conceal, to cover, and to mask. Again, as with that construct of cover, you have veil, and so you have lot meaning to hide, to envelop, and to obscure. When something is veiled, it is blanketed. There's like a curtain over it, and it's like a cloak. Now, this word cloak is very interesting because this idea of cloak is also associated with that description of Esau when he was a baby. He's described as having all of this hair and whatnot. That was like a cloak. And so this construct of veil, this construct of lot, is also associated with shrouding, a pall, and a cover. Now, as we look a little bit more at some of the dynamics that are in Scripture and in Strong's, it's important to keep in mind the origin of Lot, or where Lot was situated. And so historically, you have Lot associated with Haran, or Haran, associated with Turkey, specifically Anatolia. And as you recall, we talked about some of the relationships between individuals in parts of Africa and Turkey. And so you also have this association of Lot and Turkey, and of course, the name Africa being associated with Lot. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at some other indications with respect to this name Lot, and this is in Strong's 3091. We talked about this before when talking about the history of the name Africa, and also the relationship between the Magna Mater and Lot. You saw it coding with this MM and this mu with respect to Cybele. You also see a number of Greek transliterations with respect to Lot in this particular passage. We're going to look at one of those, and then we're going to look at the significance of the MM and the mu with respect to Lot and Scripture and the book of Revelation. And so Lot is represented as mu. We're looking at these Greek letters, and then MM. And here you see the mu and the MM separated. And so we see this scriptural understanding of Lot as the head, as the chief. You also see some other indications with respect to Lot, and this is likely tied to the narratives around Lot. And these narratives are not the most positive of narratives. And so when you check out the narratives, you'll have a better understanding of that. And so we're just going to look at one of the other constructs other than simply hiding and covering and veiling with respect to Lot in this particular passage. And so in addition to being the head, the chief, the top, you have Lot indicated as perverse. And when you look at the narrative surrounding Lot, this makes perfect sense. So you have Lot indicated as perverse, perverted, and distorted. To a lesser degree, you have Lot associated with or understood as aberrant, bestial, and cross-grained. Now, Lot is introduced in the first book of Scripture in the Old Testament, in the book known as Genesis. And Lot, when you look at this discussion of Lot being top, head, chief, and you also see Lot as cover and veiling, Lot is the antithesis of the last book in Scripture in the New Testament known as the book of Revelation. And the book of Revelation is about revealing. So it's the antithesis of Lot. It's about disclosing, divulging religious truths, uncovering things, unveiling things. And so very specifically, the book of Revelation is the antithesis of Lot, or Lot is the antithesis of this book of Revelation. We're going to look at one additional thing as we are wrapping up in terms of Lot. And so in addition to simply being Abraham's nephew, earlier we saw that Lot was associated with Cybele and Addis, Anatolia, Rome. We also saw that Lot was associated with the name origin of Africa in many ways. You also see that Lot means head, chief, top, and Rosh. Lot also is related to this construct of covering, concealing, and veiling. And in Strong's Concordance, you have Lot symbolically associated with mu. So when you look at the numbers and the letters associated with Lot in Strong's that we were just looking at, you see this very long number. You see 1 mu, and then you see the mm squared. And so all of this, from Cybele to Africa to head to this number, all of this is associated with or means Lot. And so when you are looking at this scripture analysis of Lot, this construct of Lot, this person of Lot, this fruit of Lot, you have Lot as the top, the chief, the head, the Rosh. And so what you have here is an entity that, even though you see the face of something that is understood as the top, the chief, the head, the actual entity that is the top, chief, head, according to this understanding of Lot, is something that is veiled or concealed. And so therefore, even though Lot is understood as the top, chief, head, what is Lot is not readily discernible. And so Lot presents as a facade. And so Lot presents as something that Lot is not. And so you really don't know what you're dealing with when you're dealing with Lot, because Lot appears as something that Lot is not. In terms of scripture, the primary focus of Lot revolves around this dynamic of Sodom and Gomorrah. But when you take Lot out of the context of just the book of Genesis, you see that there is a lot more going on with the history of Lot, the understanding of Lot, and the meaning of Lot, not only in scripture, but in terms of history. Remember, knowledge is power. Take care. See you soon.